Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do an update video on the Honda Super Cub. This is the 2021 Super Cub that I bought a few weeks ago. Overall in good shape, a lot of cosmetic things, a lot that I've already worked through, a few that I'm going to finish on this video, but wanted to highlight the ones that I have already gone through, including this much cleaner leg fairing that on the bike, as I bought it, was had all kinds of weird stuff glued to it. Anyway, the bike is looking really good. A few other things that I want to add. Also want to do a quick oil change. Want to talk about the cam chain tensioner and something that I've noticed on this that I need to fix, and the reason that there's a sticker here reminding people in the house not to ride this bike because there is no cam chain tensioner at the moment. So I have my lift here. I have my NSR 50 on it. Going to back this off, get the Cub on it, and run you through a few things, including a Yoshimura exhaust to replace this hideous exhaust that came on the bike that sounds absolutely terrible and looks even worse. After this video though, I think this bike is going to be good to go, or at least good to start doing all the other modifications, including some other real engine mods, but having got rid of all of the little gremlins that I've had to work through over the last couple of weeks. So a few things that have changed off the bat are the grips. The ones that came on the bike were in really poor condition. The bar ends also were falling apart, or I can't remember if they even had any. These are from my 2019 Honda Monkey, and they fit and look good with the chrome. I added an ASV F3 lever. I like putting these on all my bikes. The shorty lever length fits better with my hand. I think it also looks much better. The side mirrors that I'm running right now, these are actually from my Honda SCL 500. They probably won't be the permanent mirrors that I have on the bike, but for now they're very functional. I think they look good enough. I also like that they are a bit stockier than the stock ones because I can more easily clip my Insta360 camera mount to it for first-person riding adventures. Anyway, but so all of that's looking pretty clean. I also did the integrated front turn signals in a separate video that I think cleaned it up quite a bit. I'm going to do the same for the rear. One of the big changes that I made here, thanks to my buddy Mike at Rider's Block, is he had an extra leg fairing. The one that came on the bike was in particularly poor condition. There was trim glued to it and cup holders and other accessories. It was also just scratched up and overall made the bike look pretty bad, but this one's in good condition. He also hooked me up with a new chain guard cover that's in really good condition, as well as some new shocks that I haven't put on yet, but aesthetically the bike is looking pretty good. I actually have the foot pegs off because I had painted them. They had a lot of rust. Please don't mind how messy my desk is here. There's also some other parts, like I have no idea how that got so scratched up. This is one of the trim pieces for the foot peg. I'll show you where it goes because there's other scratches on the bike, but it sits somewhere around here. There's also some scratches here on the casing that I'll eventually paint. But yeah, what is this? Was it a cowboy wearing spurs or something? Anyway, I have a new trim ring piece and a lot of other small accessories from Partzilla to finish things up. One thing in particular was something that I noticed on the cam chain tensioner. So let me take you over to that part of the bike. So one of the few mechanical issues that I noticed with this bike was that the cam chain sounded really rattly. I took off the cam chain cover and I noticed that with my finger I could feel that it was relatively loose. So I opened up the port here to access the external cam chain tensioner. When I removed the bolt, the rod was the only thing that came out. There was no spring. So this had been under almost no tension for a while. I will make sure that the timing is correct, but I did order the correct spring from Partzilla so that I could get that together. You'll also notice that the bolt that holds that spring in is really rounded off. So my guess is somebody in the past removed this bolt thinking that it was the oil bolt. This spring probably shot out because it is under a lot of tension. They couldn't find it and just put it back together. Since it's a Honda, it actually ran just fine, but again, putting it together correctly. So I also ordered a new bolt that isn't rounded off with a new crush washer. So you're going to get that just together here, the rod, the spring, the bolt. And that should be good to go. Let's double check timing though. Timing looks good, difficult to get the camera angle, but at the T mark there that you can see, and what you do is you spin this around with a 17mm socket to get it to the T mark. There's an F for fire and T for top dead center. And so difficult to get the camera in there, but that little circle is lined up with the little indentation on the side of the casing difficult to see from this angle, but everything is lined up. So while that this ran for who knows how long without a cam gear tensioner, but everything apparently stayed in timing, and hopefully this takes care of that rattling sound. And actually, let me see. Yeah, just moving with my finger here, it doesn't feel as loose as it did previously. So again, simple fix. If you get a bike that you haven't owned the entire time and you're hearing cam chain noises, make sure that you check to make sure that that spring is actually in there. I also did check the valves earlier and tighten them up just a little bit, but hopefully this bike is going to be running well. So let me change the oil quickly and then let's throw on the exhaust. So if you're just draining the oil, it's a pretty simple process. 17mm socket to pull off the drain plug. Again, the one on the right side of the bike, not the left side. That is the cam chain spring tensioner. Anyway, drain it and pop back in another quart of oil. I've got the Honda GN4 oil. There's lots of different oils that are fine as long as it has wet clutch protection, but I like to use the Honda stuff. And also make sure that you put in a new crush washer each time. Seem to see often people just reuse the crush washer, and you need to put a new one in every time you pull this plug out. Yeah, so the seller said that it had new oil, and this oil looks pretty fresh, but again, I don't know what kind of oil it is, what weight it is, so in my opinion, new bike, always change the oil. Or when you buy a bike that's used, that's new to you, always change the oil. So I believe this takes just under the quart. Again, this has the neat little view window here so that you can keep an eye on when you get close to being in between those two lines. You need to make sure that the bike is upright. Again, with the dual stand, especially here on the lift, it's straight. It is angled a little bit forward, but that shouldn't make much of a difference as far as seeing the level of oil that's in the bike. All right, I'm seeing it almost at that top line there, so I'm going to go ahead and cap it off here, run it around a little bit, and then check to make sure that it's level on the ground, and put a little bit more in if I need to. So pretty simple installation. I liked how this bracket holds it slightly off of the frame, but again, a million times better than that weird exhaust that was on the bike previously. The kit also came with these cool Yoshimura, Pop Yoshimura stickers. I'll probably put one on the bike, at least for now, because I think that's kind of retro cool. So let's fire it up for the first time and see what this sounds like. Switch. All right, that sounds way less harsh than that exhaust that was on the bike previously. I'm gonna, actually, yeah, before this gets hot, I'm gonna use some alcohol to wipe down any fingerprints so that doesn't get stained into the stainless steel. That sounds ironic, but wiping it down with alcohol first seems to prevent it from permanently leaving my fingerprints from where I touched the pipe. I'm gonna clean everything up. I don't know how the audio sounded. It never picks up well for the exhaust because it kind of mutes it out if it gets too loud. Also didn't want to rev it too high because the engine is cold. So going to get the bike out and go for a ride, see what it looks like and sounds like. Also hard to pick up the actual audio, but again, to me it sounds much better. That other one sounded absolutely horrendous, and there was all kinds of weird pops and snaps. Again, just I have no idea why that exhaust was on the bike in the first place, but really happy with the way that the bike is now. The last thing is the wheels. The wheels has there is a lot of pitting on some of the parts in the aluminum and some scrapes. So probably going to do either powder coat this set or do some custom cool set to really help set it apart. And then I've got a lot of other mods as we really dive into the engine. But anyway, happy with this. Let's close this out with a ride. All right, so this exhaust sounds amazing, especially compared to that stupid exhaust that I had on the bike previously. The sound quality, the sound level overall is actually a lot lower than that other one. And then the quality is what you'd come to expect from Yoshimura. So happy to have done a first engine mod, so to speak, on this bike. I haven't done any ECU tuning. I probably won't until I start to do intake and cam and some of those other bigger mods, at which point I'll probably do the A-Racer like I've done on most of the other bikes that I've done engine modifications to. But happy now getting that exhaust cleaned up, just because, again, that looked and sounded so bad I was almost embarrassed to ride the bike. And then more importantly, getting that cam chain tensioner set up. I don't hear that chain rattling anymore. Fortunately, didn't have any adverse effect on the bike, but again, I think mechanically now the bike is sound. Aesthetically, I think it looks good. Looking forward to start really diving into the various projects that I have planned. If this video was interesting at all, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.